Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Islamic Defense Podcast. And yes, I know the mustache is gone. It's a sad day for all of us, but I decided to remove it because it was not very. I don't know. It was just bothering me. But anyway, it's a sad day for us. But anyway, let's just continue. I don't want to hear about it in the comment section. And if any of you comment on my mustache, I will delete that comment. And
I will look for you. I will find you, and I will kill you.
regardless, let's start. So a few days ago, one of my Patreons actually reached out to me, and he basically requested me to make a video on an article by Whitney Webb. The article was on the website called Unlimited Hangout. I looked into it, and in her abstract, she said something very, very interesting. And this is what she said. Under the guise of combating structural racism, the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security has laid out a strategy for ethnic minorities and the mentally challenged to be vaccinated first, all as a matter of justice. However, other claims made by the center contradict these social justice talking points to other motives entirely. Now, this is a very interesting claim. So, I was a bit skeptical. So, I did some research onto Whitney Webb, and as it turns out, she's kind of a conspiracy nut, as you might say. Now, I have a few things with conspiracy theories. I don't think all conspiracy theories are bogus, as some people would have you believe, because in the past there has been times when conspiracy theories have actually turned out to be true. For example, the whole thing with WikiLeaks. A lot of what they said actually turned out to be true. And some of these whistleblowers, people who expose secrets, not all of them are false. And the whole deal with Snowden, what he said was absolutely true. He actually did work for CIA, so, or NSA, I think. I'm sorry. So conspiracy theories are not always bogus, right? But in this case, you have to be careful, because some conspiracy theories are hocus pocus, because some conspiracy theories say that we're all alien reptiles. So obviously, this type of conspiracy theories are not helpful. They are lies and they're wrong. So we need a way. So the way I navigate through conspiracy theories is I look at who is it coming from. For example, if it comes from someone like Snowden, who actually worked for the NSA, you can trust it, because this, and Snowden is someone you can trust because he's a trustworthy person. He actually worked there. But that's not the case with every conspiracy theories, and especially this one, because Whitney Webb, as it turns out, she's very into the whole conspiracy theory type websites, and her articles kind of lead you on that direction, which is why I at first didn't take her seriously. However, unfortunately, after looking at her claims, it turns out she's actually not wrong on this. So there are 2 points I want to talk about. So the first point that I want to tackle is about vaccine and race. So let's talk about it. Now, the first claim that turns out to be true is that the US government is actually considering giving the minorities, or aka Black and Latino people, the vaccination for COVID-19 first. How I got confirmed is because there is a New York Times article on this, where the article said agency officials and the advisors are also considering what has become a contentious top option, putting Black and Latino people who have disproportionately fallen victim to COVID-19 ahead of other population. As you guys know, New York Times is no conspiracy site. It's a very well established and it's very well respected by other media outlets. So this is definitely not some kind of conspiracy nut job. And I also looked into the reporter, and she is also very reliable. So this is definitely not some kind of conspiracy theory case. It is true that US officials are actually considering giving the vaccines to minorities before any other race. So the reason they want to give vaccine to Black and Latino communities first is because, according to many research, they're the ones who are the biggest victim of COVID-19. So the logic goes is that since they're the biggest victim, we have to treat them first. However, this is a fallacious logic. Here they're committing the naturalistic fallacy. Just because Black and Latino people are the biggest victim of COVID-19 does not mean that they have to be treated first, or we have to give them the vaccine first. For example, we know that in the US prison there are more Black people than there are white people. Does that now mean that police should arrest Black people more than white people? Of course not. You see, when it comes to morality, you cannot get an ought from an is. Just because something is a certain way does not mean it has to be that. You know what I mean? So just because Black and Latino people are the biggest victim of the virus does not mean that they have to be given vaccine earlier, okay? This is especially true because there's no actual scientific reasons for them to doing so. Also, this is absolutely wrong when it comes to morality. Our morality cannot be based on numbers. If we go by numbers, we can justify a lot of things. So just because something is natural or something is a certain way does not mean that your morality should be based on that thing. You know what I mean? This is fallacious. So, and also this is kind of racist. I mean, choosing one race over another. Again, like I said, morality cannot come from something that's natural or something that is a certain way. Morality has to come from something outside. For example, religion or a moral philosophy, whatever. For example, Prophet ﷺ said, Abu Darda reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, during the middle of the day, at the end of the pilgrimage, O people, your Lord is one, your father Adam is one. There is no favor of an Arab over a foreigner, nor a foreigner over an Arab, neither white skin over black skin, nor black skin over white skin, except by righteousness. You can read about this in Musnad Ahmed, 23,489. This hadith has been graded as Sahih by Sheikh Al-Aranut. So we have to treat and give vaccine to all people and not just minorities. However, that doesn't mean we ignore the fact that they're the biggest victims. Of course not. Regardless, let's go on to the second point, which is that vaccines have side effects. Now, the second claim that she made is that vaccine have side effects. And at first I didn't want to believe it, but then after I did some research, it turned out that it's actually true. For example, according to the FDA, the doctors have said the most commonly reported side effects, which typically lasted several days, were pain at the injection site, tiredness, headache, muscle pain, chills, joint pain, and fever. Of note, more people experienced these side effects after the second dose than the first dose. So it is important for vaccination providers and recipients to expect that there may be some side effects and after either dose, but even more so in the second dose. You can read about this in the official FDA website. Now, right now there are two vaccines that have been issued by that has been approved by the FDA, the Pfizer and the Moderna, and they both have this problem. Not only that, recently I saw that my Patreon, he shared an article link with me where it said that in India, the vaccine that they have, which is called Covishield, also have these similar problems. And one guy actually made a lawsuit against the company. However, does that mean that we now have to reject vaccines? Absolutely not. Again, drinking too much water can also lead to condition known as overhydration. And overhydration can cause vomiting, headache, seizure, muscle weakness, and in some severe cases, it can even lead to death. Now, does that mean that we should now stop drinking water? Of course not. You see, the thing with the vaccine is that the benefit outweighs the cost. Okay, the benefit is way bigger than the loss, which is some small pain, right? But even then, like according to most doctors, those conditions usually goes away. Again, this doesn't mean that we stop taking vaccines. Same way, just because water can cause overhydration does not mean that we stop drinking water. This is not a good logic. So again, when it comes to morals, we cannot get what should be based on what is. It's a fallacy, again, naturalistic fallacy, as David Hume, the famous philosopher, have pointed out. The thing is that we have a moral obligation to heal ourselves. Right now, we have no other option but to take the vaccine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, And do not kill yourself. Surely Allah is ever merciful. So since not taking the vaccine could lead to death, we have to take the vaccine. Otherwise, this could count as a form of suicide, which is haram. However, that doesn't mean that we let the medical companies off the hook. Of course not. The thing is that we have to constantly pressure them to make better vaccines without any side effects. These pharmaceutical companies will obviously try to make more money by making bad products. What we have to do is pressure them to make good products that doesn't have any side effects. In this case, that product is medicine. However, rejecting the medicine is not an option. It doesn't solve anything. And it definitely doesn't achieve anything. Not to mention, it could be extremely destructive for ourselves and our families. So if you're a Muslim doctor, know that the Prophet ﷺ said, Abu Hurairah reported, the Prophet ﷺ said, the parable of one who learns sacred knowledge and then does not share it is like one who stores up treasure and then does not spend it. You can read about this in Mujam al-Awsat, 3479. So you have a responsibility to use your knowledge to make better medicine. Don't just be satisfied with a medicine that has side effects. Also, don't rush to make a vaccine. Now, the thing is that medicines take time, and so which is why doctors have you as a doctor has a responsibility to make the best vaccine without any side effect. So what I'm saying is that don't just be happy just because you've made a vaccine. No, make the best vaccine possible. Regardless, with that, I'm going to end the video. Again, if you like my content, then please consider becoming a Patreon. It will help the channel a great deal. And if you like the video, consider sharing and subscribing, And with that, I want to end the video. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.